You are going to hell, and I'm going to get in your face and tell you about it. And he supports things like David Walker's appeal and the things that David Walker calls for. He considers he referred to the Constitution of the United States because it doesn't explicitly outlaw slavery, because it allowed slavery to continue. William Lloyd Garrison, in the pages of The Liberator, refers to the Constitution as an agreement with hell, an agreement with Satan, and that not worth the paper it's written on. He refers, at one point he says, that which is not just is not law, meaning that, I'm not breaking the law if I help people, kidnap slaves and take them away from their masters so that they can be free. Because the laws that allow for slavery are not just. And so the whole sort of, what this does, and this is sort of wrapped up into our discussion that we had about the Nat Turner book, is that things like Nat Turner's Rebellion, which occur against the backdrop of this new, much more sort of militant abolitionist movement, create us kind of a hunkered down, persecuted sort of mentality in the South, right? That everybody in the North is out to get us, and everybody in the North wants, our slaves to slit our throats, and we've all got to sort of close ranks and protect our way of life and resist any challenge to our way of life, almost to the death. And so it sort of, this abolition movement, even though your average Northerner, and this is the other thing a lot of people don't realize, your average Northerner considers people like Garrison and abolitionists to be kooks, okay? I mean, when Garrison, even though they might be against slavery, the sort of stuff that William Lloyd Garrison and David Walker are advocating, your average white Northern citizen considers to be absolutely crazy, okay, and illegal, all right? So your average Northerner doesn't necessarily, and again, they may not like slavery, but they don't buy into, sort of this kind of radical anti-slavery that abolitionists are preaching. Most Northerners consider abolitionists to be sort of the way far out radical fringe. I mean, to give you an example, abolitionists hated Abraham Lincoln when he became president because abolitionists felt that Abraham Lincoln didn't go near far enough. He was not near far enough in his opposition to slavery. And so that gives you an example of sort of how sort of out there, how radical, on the sort of radical sort of lunatic fringe the abolitionists were, okay? Anyway, this movement and things like the Nat Turner Rebellion and David Walker's appeal and all this sort of stuff, as I mentioned, sort of contributes to this feeling among the South, though, this perception that the South has that, sort of the North is out to get us, right? They're out to destroy our way of life, and we have to defend it. And it very much sort of sets in motion or sets the stage for continued conflict over the next 30 years over the issue of slavery. Now, again, most people think it's not that big a deal, your average person, because slavery is not going to come up again because we've got the Missouri Compromise. But then, as you'll find out in the next lecture about westward expansion, then the United States, through various means, adds all these other new territories, California, New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, Nevada, to the United States, that then brings that age-old issue about, well, can slavery exist there or can it not exist there, right back to the fore, and it comes back to the fore in the midst of this extremely contentious sort of dispute and these contentious feelings, particularly with the South feeling like they're sort of under attack from all sides. Okay. That's the end of the lecture, and the next lecture, which I'll post here pretty soon, will at least begin to talk about westward movement.